So hello you guys and welcome back to my channel. I'm still a little bit sick today, so you're gonna have to bear with me. The voice is kicking in and out. But I just wanted to sit down and talk about season 9. Usually when I finish a season I do like a recap video with you guys where I just want to talk about like stuff that I liked. Slipping away from the table. So there was a lot to fucking take in this season. Holy hell. Right. I just want to start with, I have a list and I know I'm gonna like veer from the list because that's my brain for you. I just can't fucking stay in order. But I do have a list. Alright, so first of all, I want to talk about some of the standout deaths for me because I've had a lot of people ask me about deaths, which seems kind of like weird, but I get you. So first of all, one of the standout deaths for me was Gregory. I feel like as a character, he pissed a lot of people off. Yeah, that's how he was written. That was kind of the intent of his character. But I feel like the way his death was done and the kind of backlash of it and how Maggie handled it made it all the more interesting. Like if Gregory had just like fallen down a hole or a well or something of that sort, you know, would people have cared as much? It's how he died that made it so like, oh, okay, we're going to the gallows. Henry, of course, is another death that hit me straight in the feelings. Again, Henry was the type of character that he got like intense feelings out of people. You know, I feel like a lot of the younger part of the fan base loved him because they could resonate or really kind of identify with his and Lydia's relationship. A lot of the younger ones kind of did like him a lot, whereas a lot of the older fan base, or the older in age part of the fan base, found him irritating, found him annoying. I kind of teetered in the middle. He pissed me off a lot, but at the same time I was like, he is just a kid, but he's an annoying one. You know, so I can relate to both sides. But I feel like his death, given how big of a character he'd become over the season, and the fact that you're taking away another kid from Carol, and of course Ezekiel, but Carol has lost Lizzie, Mika, Sophia. I'm pretty sure there's others in there I'm just fucking forgetting about. It's like a joke now. Oh, don't let Carol with your kids because they'll die. I think it's so fucking sad. It's so fucking sad that Carol just has terrible luck when it comes to kids or guardianship of kids. And I feel so fucking bad for her because she's the type of character that doesn't deserve that. She wants to look after people. She wants to mind people. And I feel like the little family situation she had going with Henry and Ezekiel, it was so fucking lovely. It was so lovely that we knew it wouldn't last. You know, because like we can't have nice things in this show. Tara, of course, as well, leading on, you know, keeping with the kind of Pike team. Dude, Tara really got to me. I think because she's been there for so long. Like, Tara's death split a lot of people as well. You had so many people saying, oh, I don't want to watch anymore. And then you had other people saying, no, I don't really give a shit about Tara. Tara wasn't the type of character that stood out in my mind. I thought she was a cool character, but she wasn't one of my favourites. But when I saw her on the Pike, I was like, that's Tara. You can't just kill Tara. But alas, they did. Alas, what are we? Shakespeare. The Highwaymen as well angered a lot of people, and me too. Like, in the grand scheme of things, when you're watching the Pike scene, the Highwaymen was like, oh, yeah, whatever, who else is there? But looking back on it, it's like the Highwaymen had so much potential. They never got to see their movie. We never got to see them interact with, like, any fucking character. I feel like they could have been a really good addition to the show. They seemed interesting. They seemed kind of fucking weird. And then they were just dead. And it was like, well, it was nice getting to know you for the whole scene and a half you were in. Jesus is another death that just... Now, I understand that there's, like, reports of Tom Payne being happy with the decision that his character was killed off. And, you know, I guess, like, with certain characters and actors, if the actor wants out or the actor isn't feeling it anymore, sure, let them do what they want, you know. But at the same time, I'm like, I loved Jesus. I feel like he became such a part of like, he's Jesus, you know, with the majestic hair, the cool outfit, the ninja moves. It was kind of like the Tara thing. Seeing him go, it was like, why? But why? Side note, have you guys seen Tom Payne now that he's de-Jesus'd himself? If you haven't, you should check it out, I'm just saying. And another standout death, even though it wasn't a death, was Rick. Rick leaving the show, I am in two minds about, right? And I don't know if I've explained this in a video before. I know I've explained it on live streams and stuff, but, like, I feel like announcing the fact that he was leaving took away a lot of the suspense and a lot of the surprise. I think if it had been completely kept under wraps, because let's face it, who would expect Rick to leave the show? I know that there's spoiling accounts out there, there's all this shit out there, but that is something that I feel like they could have kept under wraps because it was so outlandish and outrageous. Fuck. It's so outlandish and outrageous that they could have kept that under wraps if they had really fucking tried. And can you imagine sitting down to watch that episode and having Rick just fuck off in a helicopter at the end of it and then we just don't see him for the rest of the season? I think I would have preferred personally if it had been kept a secret. That being said, it's such a big moment in Walking Dead history that it does sort of feel like something that you need to prepare a viewer for. Because can you imagine the backlash and the absolute fire, the absolute shit fuck rage storm that would have been online after that episode if it hadn't have been announced that it was going to happen. You would have had people confused as shit being like, what? The way Rick left, I quite liked it. If he didn't get his movies, I'd be so fucking mad and I'd be like, oh, so we're just getting an open ending, we're not even going to be taught what happened, Rick. But the fact we're getting the movies that are going to explain Rick and his stuff and things, I'm happy about. I'm so fucking happy about that. A lot of people keep asking me if I think Rick is going to come back into the show. I do. Even though they're like, everyone like high up top, they're like, Rick isn't coming back, it's his last ever episode. I call bullshit. And this video is going to be proof. I have a feeling the very last episode of The Walking Dead ever, Rick will cross back over into the show, even if it's just for an end scene. I do think we're going to see him back in the show again, because the show opened with Rick. You cannot close a show of this magnitude without him. I feel like everybody has adapted to The Walking Dead without Rick, and I feel like this season has been really strong and really good. Same time, I miss him. I do miss him. Some of my standout moments of this season was the graveyard, Jesus' death. First time we get to see the Whisperers, there's confusion, it's dark, it's foggy, it's kind of scary. Jesus gets stibbity stabbed and I thought, yeah, but he'd be grand like, you know, because he's Jesus and people get stabbed all the time in this fucking show. No. That was the one time someone actually died from a probable death. And I was like, yeah, but he's fine, right? I thought that scene was so creepy and eerie and I loved it. The Pike scene, of course, was another standout moment. Daryl and Beta fight was like one of my favourite moments this season. Getting to see two characters that are very strong. I mean, Daryl, we know him. We know that character inside out. We've had seasons with him. Beta, we don't really know, but just by looking at the fucking guy. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't go up against him. I don't care if you have a fucking machete, you know, with vipers behind you ready to just bite the shit out of him. No. No. I really did like that scene. Although I would like a little bit of explanation as to how he got out of the elevator. Dude was just chilling. Did he have to like crab walk his way up out of the elevator shaft? Did someone drop a rope to him? Was there an awkward like moment where the Whisperers had to like tug him up out of the fucking hole? Rick leaving was another one of the standout parts of the season for me, as of course I think it was for everybody. Negan saving Judith was something that I liked as well. And Negan is a character I really want to touch on because wow, he's getting people talking. So like, I like Negan as a character. I love him as a character. I think he's very well written. He's very interesting. There's not much of a dull moment with him. But at the same time, whenever I say, oh, I love Negan, everybody just jumps down my throat and they're like, hey, you've forgotten what he did to Glenn. And I'm like, first of all, I really fucking haven't forgotten. How could you forget something that big? Second of all, you were forgetting about Abraham. Everyone is so quick to point out the fact he killed Glenn. And it's like, yeah, what about Abraham though? You can like a character without agreeing with everything they do. Negan is, or has been in the past, a sleazeball. He's a creep. You know, he's freaky. He's bad, but he's not necessarily scary. But he's still a character that, like, he's a bad fucking guy. I don't care what way you go about it. Negan's a bad guy. He's a villain. But I do like the arc they're taking his story in. You know, with him saving Judith, talking to Michonne. I feel like they're going a good way about trying to like introduce this new storyline for him. No, I don't forgive what he's done. No, I don't forget what he's done. I don't think that he should just be brought into the fucking society and like, yeah, Negan's good now, guys, because he's not, you know? But I do forgive that people can grow and change, but at the same time, I am never forgiving that shit. No. He's like a rabid dog with a muzzle on, you know? He's dangerous and he's a wild card, but he's He's tamed for now. I'm fucking terrible at explaining shit. Jerry singing was another standout moment of this season, which is really weird. You know the scene where they were drawing all of the walkers out of the cinema, and Jerry's just singing, bopping his head. I loved that because I was like, that would so fucking be me. That would be me as all hell. And it was so normal. And I feel like Jerry this season has really come through as well. We got to see more of him. He's become just this little ray of sunshine on the show, that he's just so bubbly and funny. I fucking love him. Another thing I absolutely loved was Cudlitz got to direct an episode this season. Michael Cudlitz, for those of you who don't know, who played Abraham, he got to direct episode 7 of the season, and I fucking love it when past cast members, or current cast members, come back to direct an episode, because it's like, it must be so weird for them directing their friends and being behind the camera as opposed to on. I love that shit. Another standout for me was definitely Michonne's episode. Whoa! When she was cutting through all of those people, and she just had that raw emotion on her face, and she was just going for it. And you had the spliced up kind of montage of her killing people and stuff. Denai is an incredible actress, yes. We have seen great things from Michonne before, yes. But I don't think we've ever fucking seen emotion from her like in this scene. It was raw, it was believable, it was so hit you in the fucking gut. Wow. Just some things in general I liked about this season was I loved the old school horror vibes that we got. You know, with the smoke and the creepy music, the hands coming up out of the snow, stuff like that. I like old school horror vibes, and of course with Greg Nicotero we are going to get a lot of that, but I like it when that's just kind of sprinkled in, you know, in random moments. I love that shit. I like that music this season has been more prominent too. We got a lot more musical numbers. I make it sound like the cast just broke out into song or some shit. Like, you know what I mean. Music has come back. It's come back to the forefront of the show. And I like that. I feel like music can make or break a scene. For example, one of my favourite scenes in Walking Dead history is when they're at the outpost and you have Arsonist's Lullaby by Hosier playing in the background. Now, when I first heard that, I nearly absolutely screamed because I fucking love Hosier. My dude is Irish as all hell and I love him. He's a beautiful voice. He's got pure haunting music. But hearing him on the show, the song and the words just added to the atmosphere. So, yeah, I liked that. And I like that music is starting to make it's starting to take more of a relevant role in the show. I liked the cliffhanger voice at the end of the episode. A lot of people have been asking about that. Who do you think it is? I don't know. People are saying it could be Al from Fear. People are saying it could be Maggie. I had a few people saying it was Jadis. I don't know. Could be anyone. That's what I think makes it exciting. They sprinkled in something like that, but they kept it vague enough that you can't tell who it is, and I like that. Maggie, though, has a very distinctive country twang in her voice, so I feel like if it was Maggie, the realization would have hit you way harder. But I don't know. Another thing I loved about this season is when Another thing that I loved about the scene was that... Fuck me. Man, if I could talk, that would just be... My life would be so much better if I could just learn how to speak properly. The problem with me is my mind is always like 5 sentences ahead of my mouth. And you can tell when you're watching my videos, I'm struggling. My mouth is struggling to keep up with what I'm thinking. It's so annoying. Another thing that I loved about this season was Daryl and Connie dressing up as the Whisperers. I feel like that was just such a bold bitch move. I loved that. Some of the newcomers that I loved this season. Of course, I loved the Whisperers, Alpha, Beta, all of that. I feel like it brought a new feel to the show, brought a new vibe. Alpha is creepy and scary, and she's just fucking weird. She's just fucking weird as shit. She's not like, you know, like with the governor, they did this thing with him where they tried to make him, I don't know, likable. They tried to make you feel for him, and it was like, no, this guy is evil. Fuck that. I am not feeling bad for him. They did the same thing with Gareth and the Terminus people, where it's like, yeah, they're bad, but look, they went through this too. And at the same time, I'm like, yeah, okay, but I don't forgive them. I don't feel for them just because bad shit happened to you. That does not give you an excuse to go and eat fucking people. You know what I'm saying? How you deal with things, I think, speaks more about you as a person rather than what you go through. So how you confront and deal with shit that you've faced, how you come out the other side, stands to you more than what you've experienced. I don't know if I'm phrasing that right. But yeah, it doesn't feel like they're trying to do that with Alpha. They're just like, oh yeah, she's just like fucked. You know? She beats her fucking kid. She's weird as all hell. I don't like her as a person. Fantastic character. Fantastic character. That doesn't mean I love her though. You know what I'm saying? I think Samantha's doing an incredible job with portraying her. Lydia as well, of course. Holy fucking shit. Her character, she's a little fireball of an actress. She just burst onto the fucking show. And already I'm like, I really like her. That scene we had with her and Carol, where she was trying to convince Carol to kill her. Wow, that was some fucking powerful shit. I did quite enjoy the Highwaymen, or the little that we saw of them before they were taken away from us. I loved Kelly and Connie as an addition to the show. I feel like a lot of viewers have already fallen in love with Connie. But I feel like Kelly, I don't know, maybe I'm biased because I met Angel and I think she's such a fucking rad person. They both are, of course, but I think Connie and Kelly together, the kind of sibling, obviously they're sisters, so like the sibling bond that they have, the fact that we have hard of hearing or hearing loss being portrayed on the show, you've Sign being incorporated into the show. Yeah, I really like them, and I have a feeling they're going to come a lot more to the forefront in season 10, hopefully. Some of the most emotional scenes this season, of course, Rick leaving and the aftermath. What a kick you in the crotch, my stomach is going to fall out my ass kind of emotional punch that shit was. Like, seeing everybody do, like when you had Michonne and Daryl speaking to each other afterwards. You know, when you had Daryl like almost apologising for not bringing Rick home or Rick's body home. And Michonne and Daryl, I think their bond deepened when Rick left because Michonne adored Rick and was in love with him and was in a relationship with him, and Daryl was his best friend, so they both lost such a giant part of their lives that I think the only people they could truly relate to was each other. Of course, you have Rick's kids losing their dad too, but like RJ and Judith, they're both quite young. They will learn to grow and adapt, whereas Michonne and Daryl lived with Rick for fucking years. So I feel like the only people they could bond with over this such deep loss was each other, and I liked that we did get to see that. The Ezekiel breakup as well had me like, I'm sorry. What? Now, I am not like a hardcore shipper. I'm not gonna like go out there and start attacking people for what they ship, but I thought Ezekiel and Carol were so adorable together. I thought they were good for each other. You know, fucking Henry even said it, like Carol grew her hair. She felt safe and secure in the relationship. And you have people downplaying it, saying, oh, Carol never loved Ezekiel, she loves Daryl. And it's like, okay, well, if you believe that, then that's cool. That's your truth. That's what you ship. But, you know, you can't deny they were a couple on the show. They were portrayed as being in love. In my eyes, they were in love. And they were good for each other and together, and they made each other stronger, and they balanced each other out. There was no struggle for power in their relationship. The power dynamic was equal. And then, you know, Henry's death, it is so understandable as to why they would break up. The loss of a child, I can't even imagine the pain that would cause someone. I get that they just couldn't work through that or get over it. That doesn't change the fact it broke my heart when they were both like crying, looking out the window. And of course, Tara up on the pike. Tara up on the pike really fucking got me. I just want to quickly run through some of the relationships I loved because this video is getting so long. Oh no. Now when I say relationships, I don't mean like it doesn't have to be romantic. I just mean like duos in general. So Carol and Ezekiel. Can we get a rip for them, please? Rick and Michonne. Probably my favourite couple of all time on the show. Not even gonna lie. I love Carol and Ezekiel, but Rick and Michonne together. I'm just gonna stop loving couples because like, you know, when I decide I love them and there's nothing in the world better than them as a couple, they break up or they die or one of them gets robbed in a helicopter. Michonne and Daryl, I touched on that earlier, that I love the relationship the two of them have kicked up. RJ and Judith, we only got to see like fleeting moments of the two of them together, but you have the scene where she's teaching RJ to ride the bike, you have the scene where she's tucking him in under a blanket, the scene where they're playing in the snow. Again, anything got to do with siblings, it gets to me because I have a brother and I'm quite close to him. So anything got to do with siblings, I'm like, oh my god! Negan and Judith is another really interesting one that I wonder how that's going to play out. He doesn't mean her any harm, obviously, he's not going to hurt her. You can tell that. But she already knows he's a bad guy. Like when we had that thing where she was talking about how, oh yeah, like, you know, he can help me with my math homework because it's just numbers. She understands he's a bad guy and she wouldn't go to him for like moral direction. The fact that she's that fucking smart at the age that she is just mind-blowing. But I wonder how that's going to develop as she gets older. Yeah, that was just a little chat about the season because I loved the season. I thought it was... I think it's what the show needed. It needed this breath of fresh air, this change. And I really did like it. But yeah, that's it for this episode, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Yes, there's a long wait until season 10. But I'm going to be doing reactions to Fear the Walking Dead as I always do every summer. I'm going to be putting up videos here and there. They're a little bit different. You know, my watch is choking my hand. It's too big. You see, my watch is too fucking big. See? Look how big that shit is. Yeah. I'm going to be doing reactions to Fear. And I'm going to be doing recap videos to Fear. I'm probably going to come up with some Walking Dead videos to throw up here and there. And if you want to check out some new shit... I, of course, have a Patreon where I upload throwback reactions to The Walking Dead every single week. I think I'm somewhere in the region of season 4 at the moment, or 5. I do walkthroughs of Telltale's The Walking Dead. I do reactions to Superstore, and I do reactions to Vikings. So if you guys want more content, definitely go check my Patreon out. The link is in the description down below. That is such a hard sentence to say. But that is all for this week, you guys. I hope you're having a lovely week, and I'll talk to you all soon.